Hello, YouTube. I'm Vince White. I'm an employment attorney, and we're talking about President Biden and Vice President Harris today. And more importantly, something they've done that I do really approve of. They dipped in on the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act, and they released statements saying one, and let's give credit where credit's due. I love this statement from Vice President Harris. The ADA. Let's get the quote. She called the ADA a very important beginning, which is so correct. That is the most correct way to say that. And noted, but there is still so much work to be done. Yes. Yes, there is. There really, really is. Now, what they're talking about today is that they want to classify long COVID, right? The symptoms of COVID that people experience long after the original disease has passed, the brain fog, the fatigue, the many, many other symptoms, often which are kind of similar to like Lyme disease as a comparator, where people like have all these different symptoms years, months, decades even after the original disease has passed. All those symptoms of long COVID, the Biden administration, Biden Harris administration, I should say, wanted to classify that as a disability under the ADA. Now, they've directed the agencies to do so. That means the agencies will, or in some cases have already, create guidance telling people that that can be a disability. It's not really all that binding, to my mind, and reasonable minds can differ. But really, what they're saying in the employment context is they'd like the EEOC to issue guidance that this is potentially a disability under the ADA. And once the EEOC does that, it will then be litigated. And hopefully the EEOC or some plaintiff's attorney will be able to create case law that'll be a little bit more binding than the EEOC guidance on this topic, right? There's a lot of this going around right now, right? The EEOC guidance on vaccines. Well, they're on a quest to create case law to solidify that, to make that the law of the land, right? And here too, that's what they're doing. Now, President Biden knows this. He was actually a co-sponsor of the ADA, and he understands, I think, probably one of the only things he understands is the legislative process. He's been doing it for, I think, like 30 years, if not longer. And so he knows you can't take a statute that's voted on by a legislature and then just make an executive order being like, and now that's included. At least probably not here in the ADA. And I want to stress, this is my opinion, I've actually already spoken with a number of defense and in-house attorneys who all told me, no, you're wrong, we think that's entirely enforceable. Which I love to hear, because I'm thrilled to hear that they feel that way, because it's going to mean that this has more chance of being enforceable, right? This is going to be a tool that we can use to help clients, and that's incredible. It doesn't change the fact that my pessimism is real, and I'm like, well, this isn't really the law of the land yet. We need case law to solidify this. So, I am not the biggest fan of this administration, the Biden-Harris administration, but credit where credit's due. Credit where credit's due. They do actually seem to be doing something here. My take on them is generally, they say a lot of things and then do the other. Student loans, they said a lot of things. They're not doing much. Defund the police, they said a lot of things. Played real nice with Black Lives Matter. Now they won't return their calls. And they doubled the police budget, right? But they did pull out of the wars. That's something they pull out of. They're working on pulling out of Afghanistan, and this long COVID as a disability under the ADA does appear to actually have some teeth to it. This appears to be a real thing. They are really trying to get done, and my hat's off to them. Consider liking and subscribing. It does help me to help more people just like you. I will check the comments down below. Let me know if this was too political for you. I don't want to kind of water down the channel. The purpose of the channel is to answer questions and help people. I just thought this was a cool move on the political sphere, and I guess I interjected a little too much of my own feelings, potentially. That's how I feel right now. You'll tell me if I'm right or wrong. And remember, everybody works. Not everybody wins.